Maybe. Oh boy, it's flickering and it's Christmas treeing on me. And Denver Broncos Mile High View.
I don't see you. Again, man.
Here we go through the ritual.
Yep. There we go.
Okay. Denver Broncos Mile High View. The most unwatched Broncos channel with the very best track record of being, I guess we could be the I told you so, but that would be probably the I told you so platform, but that would probably get a little old after a while. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the Minnesota Viking Denver Bronco game like no other Bronco channel. We have just took this film and took it apart. There are good things to say, but there needs to be a disclaimer too involving this game. As far as I'm concerned, this game is Walmart versus Target. It's not really Broncos versus Vikings because we're so down the roster here. And in as far as being down the roster, we were looking at the film for the Minnesota Vikings and the San Francisco 49ers so we could gauge this game. A lot of I think all of the people we said, yeah, watch out for this guy, watch out for. I think none of those people, or second stringer, none of those people played, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? So we virtually have a third string Vikings team playing, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. Just due to the fact that I believe what you saw from the Vikings is they played some of their second string into the second quarter, and then into the second half, you saw them start rotating in their third string. And
yeah, but the
roster bubble guys.
The highlight, I didn't see any of those people out there.
Well, you didn't see 76, which is a clear second stringer, but there were Troy Dye was out there, the middle linebacker, number 45. He was playing first quarter. You saw the backup offensive lineman that we'll get into this Baron Browning, sack. But that you saw
the Baron Browning sack heard around the world.
Exactly.
It's proof. It's proof. No, it's not. Not proof.
Yeah.
He had a good sack against a third string offensive line that, and let's face it, that the Minnesota Vikings, unfortunately for them, have had, like the Denver Broncos, years of not getting it right on the offensive line issues. I'm not going to get into the Vikings. I was listening to Vikings radio, and they were talking a bit about how they're developing, going to change the playbook up and all that. So, but this is a Denver Bronco channel. We're going to really discuss, well, we have to discuss the Vikings in this game. But I just want to say that I took some positive away. Again, I do like what I saw with the offensive line to a degree. Of opening holes. Oh, you know what? And one thing we're going to discuss too, and I think this is the big thing. I want to talk about the running back Boone. I want to start off with Boone because I want to talk about this man right here was just scratching his head. We were scratching our head collectively here. Why they signed Gordon if you used Boone properly, and that is running the type of running plays. From an offensive schematic that suits his skill set. You shouldn't have to go get pay all that money for Gordon. Again, it's another one of these John Elway, again, it's John Elway's fingerprints on that on that move because he was still lurking around at that time. Boone proved, I think, if you use the offensive line correctly, that you don't really needed to bring in. And you said this long before this game. You were saying that. So anyway, I'll shut up and you explain the whole Boone thing again. Refresher again. Yeah, we're not watched. That's kind of the problem too. And explain what you were saying about Boone before they signed Gordon.
Well, okay, so if you guys go back and listen to my film review on I believe it was the Buffalo Bills offense film review, or no, Denver Broncos offense versus the Buffalo Bills defense a few days ago, I was strictly saying a la Hardy and the other running back, number 45, before they released him and went out and got Divino Zigbo, University of Nebraska alum, go Big Red. But anyway, but anyway, so I said that when you're using these running backs, especially the elusive running backs, you got to run a lot of those stretch plays where they can plant their one foot going to be the A, B, C gap, whatever gap that they want to run them in. But this is what I said about Mike Boone. Mike Boone reminds me a lot of Theo Riddick, who played for the Detroit Lions. We brought in Theo Riddick. He got hurt. The reason I say that is because Mike Boone is one of those guys that you can use him in a multitude of ways, just like a la Tony Pollard with the Dallas Cowboys. And the Dallas Cowboys are smart in using him in that joker role. And let me elaborate. What is the joker role for a running back? The joker role for the running back is they can use him in a lot of disguised looks. And let me elaborate on that. The disguised looks, you could put him in the slot. You could put him outside. You can use him in a multitude of ways. You can use him as a swing pass running back. What is a swing pass running back? Where they do a lot of the shallow routes that, they start off blocking and then they start going their way towards the sideline. That could be a safety valve for the running back. I really like Mike Boone's skill set. I was high on him last year when we signed him for the Minnesota Vikings because I went and watched film on Mike Boone at his university when he played for his college alma mater and when he played for the Vikings. And there was a lot of instinct. There was a lot of good plays that I saw from him. That you can use him. You can use him on the shallow route where he could go through a center and a guard and run a little shallow route. You can use him in multitude ways. He reminds me a lot of Theo Riddick in that way, where you can use him as that joker type role, like a J.D. McKissick, a Jair White with the Patriots. The Patriots. What I really love about the Patriots system in this, and I really hope that Nathaniel Hackett could take something away from that, is this. A running back by committee that they have different skill sets, but they use them in the correct way. You can have a multitude of skill sets, but you have to use them in the correct way. You can't have Javonte Williams go out and do a little shallow route and have him catch the football. That's not his skill set. His skill set, Javonte Williams, is a guy in between the tackles that likes to abuse people with his power running game. Mike Boone is different. Thunder and lightning effect. Mike Boone is that your prototypical West Coast zone run who's an all-around back. You can catch the football. You can do a lot of stretch plays. You can pull the guard, and he can plant his foot and go, a la Terrell Davis in the 90s behind that great offensive line that nobody wants to give credit where credit is due. But that's what I believe Mike Boone can do. He's not Terrell Davis, but he could be like your Theo Riddick. When Rich Scangarello had the idea of bringing him in to be that role, he got hurt because he was past his prime. But the idea of bringing in that type of running back and that type of skill set and putting him in that certain role, not to try to make him a power runner. And you saw that in this game. When they made him a power runner, he wasn't very good. But when he was being elusive and using that West Coast zone running principles, he looked very, very impressive. I've been very impressed of Mike Boone. In my personal opinion, you didn't have to go and re-sign Melvin Gordon because you had a cheaper version of Mike Boone who is a better overall pass-catching running back than a Melvin Gordon.
Yes, and I want to talk about the offensive line and schematics. What we've seen over the preseason, and it seemed to me they went a bit more West Coast at that time with Boone in there than what we saw this power running that wasn't seeming to work. They couldn't get it going. So if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Well, yeah, I'll elaborate on that. You saw the difference when Designo Ozigbo was in, the power running back we got from the Saints. He played for the Jaguars, played for Nebraska. Divine Ozigbo is a power running back. He's a bruiser. He's like a Javonte Williams. He doesn't have the same skill set as a Javonte Williams, but he's in that same realm. He's in that type of running back that's a bruising running back. But the thing is, when you saw Hardy and Boone in, they were running those stretch plays. When they had Design Ozigbo in, they would run straight forward. So it's using them correctly, not putting them in systems where they're going to fail. We'll get into it, Baron Browning, but that's for later down the video. But yes, I agree with you. The offensive line in this game, but again, how much can I take away from that when they're not going against the 76 like me and you saw on film against the a much way better player personnel unit in the San Francisco 49ers, but you don't have them in the game. You still saw some pass. You still saw the collapse pocket. They started to clamp down a little bit in this game. I just want to warn people: just because the Broncos looked good on their first drive doesn't mean that's going to correlate through the second, third, fourth quarter in many drives. What teams like to do with Denver, they let them start fast, and then they start to clamp down and start to suck the life out of the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos need to learn how to counteract that point when teams start to collapse down on the Denver Broncos.
Well, and that's what we're going to have to see if Hackett's offensive crew can make those adjustments. They didn't do anything with their first unit during the preseason, so now they're going to have to learn on the fly to make those adjustments during the season.
Were you talking about the first unit for the Broncos, or
I'm talking first unit for the Broncos, and I'm talking about.
Well, they didn't play the preseason though.
That's what I just said.
Okay.
That's what I just said. I said they didn't even bother to play them, and to just get an inkling on making adjustments. So they're going to have to learn on the fly once the season starts going.
They're not going to be able to go into Seattle and be refined in tackling. We saw the Buffalo Bills play their first string starters against the Broncos, and look how badly they were tackling. But once that first drive was over, they finally got that groove under him. Not saying that I didn't want the Denver Broncos to play 5 series with the starters, but maybe like 2 to 3 series of the Broncos starters to get them back in that rhythm of football, because you have a whole new offense you're learning. Well, supposedly, right? We don't know what this offense is going to look like, because we've seen this preseason where the Vikings, you saw that West Coast zone run work. But with the Bills and the Cowboys, to some degree, you saw a mismesh of the Shermer system, and you still saw it in this game, those 6 wide receiver sets, the a la Pat Shermer offense and Mike McCoy offense. But you're still, again, the problem I have with this is you don't have the same conglomerate of players that fit a certain type of system. And what do I mean by that? Let me elaborate on that. You don't have players that fit a certain scheme. Your running back, Javonte Williams, great player, good player, really good player. But does he fit a West Coast zone running scheme? Does he? Answer, please be honest, because I don't want to.
Well, this is what you're going to get from me is when he came here, you were not high on the pick. Okay,
I was not high on the pick. Yes,
I said, for those that I don't know anything, I said that the coaching staff for the Denver Broncos is going to have to get him to stop bouncing out like he did in college.
Yep.
And develop him as an in between the tackle. And they had at that time a really good running backs coach. He saw that too, and he developed him into that. Well, what turns out to be a power running in between the gaps. It wasn't. Yes, it was not a West Coast pull. So now what he has to do? He has to now again. The Denver Broncos. We can't stick to nothing. He's going to have to, if they do that, well, you know what? But this is what we saw during the preseason. They're trying to get their offensive line to do both. Power run, yes, because they don't have an identity. I'm just, going to say it. Are you
not wrong?
Right. Oh, no, well, we are for this couple plays. Now, okay, if you're going to mesh, you have to have an outstanding offensive line that can pull that off. I am not confident that the offensive line that we've seen for 5, 6, 7 years, I know the names have changed, but it's still the same thing. It's just not a top offensive line as much as, the turd polishers want to say it is. It's just not that, So I think they'll try to give Boone, or I'm sorry, they'll try to run the power. And we'll see how that works. They're going to try to do the West Coast as well. I think they're going to mishmash. That's what I believe they're going to mishmash.
I completely agree with you. I totally agree with you. When it comes, you brought up a great point, that running backs coach, Curtis Modkins. He's now with the Minnesota Vikings. What a coincidence, right? He's now with the Minnesota Vikings. I don't believe people really understand the importance Curtis Modkins meant to the development of a Javonte Williams, because you were bringing up a really good point about his bouncing on the outside. We still saw that in spurts last season. We saw when they would put him outside, he wasn't the same type of running back like he was when he was going in between the tackles, between the A and B gaps on that offensive line. We also have to take into account, too, when you're talking about the same offensive line from last year, you're basically putting a right tackle in what was his name, Bobby Massing, replacing him with an under injury prone right tackle and Billy Turner, who hasn't been the same in 3 years. You're basically saying that, again, it doesn't really make any logical sense to me when you're talking about what this offense is, because Garrett Bowles, yes, is an agile left tackle, but he's sucks in pass pro, and I think he's a better run blocker. That's why, me personally, I would put him at the right tackle position, because I would rather have my right tackles be run blockers than pass blockers. And there's a difference between that, because of the way teams' concepts are really based on what the left side is and the right side is. There's a difference between the two. But I agree with people. I would prefer a left tackle that is a mainly pass blocking technician more than a run blocking technician, and here's why. Because the quarterback's back most of the time is right to that left tackle's side. Now, not saying that I want my right tackle to be not a good run blocker. I would rather have an average run blocker at the left tackle position, but an elite pass protecting left tackle technician, a la Rashawn Slater. Right? That's who I wanted in the draft.
Dalton Wright, a complete bum.
Yeah, he sucks, right? Dalton Wright, yeah, I know. I don't know how to scout, right? Dalton Reisner has regressed because how many systems you put him in a 3-year span is ridiculous. Lloyd Cushenberry, so overhyped, so overrated, and they're still pushing him out there as being the one of the best, or I wouldn't say one of the best, but a good center at the center position. And then Quentin Miners, you kept pushing Graham Glasgow, and then Quentin Miners overtook Graham Glasgow because he's better than Graham Glasgow. And I've been trying to tell you that at Wisconsin Whitewater, I scouted him because I scout Wisconsin players too. But that being said, right, Quentin Miners fits that traditional West Coast zone running scheme, a la what the Niners do, Rams do, Packers do. Those teams that run those type of systems, you have a mismatch of players on that offensive line that don't have a cohesion as your starting five.
That's been the problem with the Elway system. It's the anti-cohesion way of doing things. Now it's my turn to go on this offensive line. Just quick. You don't have to apologize. The Glasgow, I thought, played decent against that particular player personnel. When compared to other. Now, the Broncos, this is how I think my left tackle. Number one, I covet the line. So my left tackle, he's an elite in both pass pro and running. He's an elite. But they don't, over there in Dove Valley, they don't look at the lines as being, a priority, really. That's just me. I just figure if I'm going to get a left tackle, I'm getting elite. I'm getting the elite. Okay. Run blocks, he's up there, and he's pass pro up there. He's elite. And as far as I'm concerned, I would try to, as best as I can, develop elite right down, the guards right down to the right tackle. That's just me. But I'm a line guy, because I know everything.
We both are.
I know everything. The universe revolves around that. So being around it, I've seen it, I know it, and yeah. So give me your Glasgow. How did Glasgow do in this game?
I think he was off and on in this game, an inconsistent player, like he has been throughout his career.
I think you use the word okay. Was he okay?
I'm still going to say inconsistent. I mean, how can I think he was inconsistent in this game. Not to say that there were drives where he was more consistent, but it wasn't. Okay, so what do I mean by inconsistency, and how do I base my analysis on inconsistency? Is he would have 3 good plays on a drive, and then the next 2 drives he would just look like he would get pushed back, or even in a running in a running game, he would just get pushed back into the running back. So when I base my opinion off of inconsistency, the two analysis and the two cohesion parts of it, there's a way that I view it, and it's not like people view it the same way I do. I just view it in a different way. You could say it was okay, but me, it's inconsistency. I do not want inconsistency on my team. I want consistency. I want to
Correct.
see that development
Correct.
factor grow up.
Correct. Now, how would you rate the player personnel at that of the Vikings? How would you rate that player personnel
Off or the whole entire player personnel
that he was playing up against? So we know what we're defining here.
I mean, the player personnel for the Vikings, I mean, they're still able to get pressure. They were still able to get pressure. But again, was it like what we saw from 76 though? Because that's the point that I have to exactly. So, but again, see that's what the whole Graham Glasgow thing I have a problem with is when you say he had an okay game. Okay, elaborate on that. What was okay about it? What was it because he was good on a few plays in a series?
Good on a few plays, not
good on a few. Okay, good on a few plays. But the difference between me and you is we look at series, we look at consistency, we look at play by play through with the first series, the second series, the third series, the fourth series, the fifth series. How many series it takes for you to get to the touchdown and get to the end zone? We base our analysis off of that criteria, and we're gonna think, okay, was it okay or was it an inconsistent? I believe it was inconsistency.
He gets an eye.
But
he gets an eye for inconsistent.
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Anything else with the lines? Anything else with running backs you'd like to?
One more thing I have to bring up on the lines. You were saying something interesting that caught my eye, and this is something when I've been scouting offensive linemen. This is the problem I have with your point. You don't have back in early 2000s, 90s, 80s, 70s. You would have offensive linemen coming out left and right out of the machine from college football and high school football. They knew how to develop players like that. I believe in today's NFL, offense and defense, offensive line especially has taken a big step back.
You're not the only one who said that, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, yes. And every time I scout football players in today's NFL, and then I go back and look at players from your time, and not trying to take keep it down, brother.
Yeah, we rode dinosaurs down to play our game.
Yeah, get mother's basement.
Yeah.
But anyway, but it's not to the same consistent. Like, okay, it goes to my inconsistency factor. You'll have a left tackle maybe in the next 3 to 5 years that looks elite, like you were saying at the left tackle position. I can't base my criteria off of that, hoping and praying in 3 to 5 years that we get a great left tackle. That's why I say I covet. That's why you have to differentiate what you want from your left tackle nowadays and your right tackle nowadays.
Well, I think developing now is a huge. It's huge now.
Well,
yes, but college they're not developing.
But that's what I'm talking about, though, because when you were talking about you want an all elite left tackle, right? Correct. That's what you said, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. How can you base your criteria off of that when high school and college football doesn't really? I would say that they don't really hamper down the importance of offensive line play like they used to back in your time, because in today's NFL, it's all about the spread offense.
Okay, and I agree with what you're saying. I'm agree with what you're saying, but I'm saying that this is why development is so important in the NFL today.
But this is where I veer off of you. When they get to the NFL, it's going to take, and this is why people don't have patience anymore, is because when they get to the NFL, they're not as refined as they were back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I'm just again, yes, that's.
But you have to be patient with it, and
that's the problem with this organization.
Exactly. Yep, that's what
I
wanted to say. It's not a
problem with other organizations. It's a problem with this organization. Other organizations are patient. Other organizations get it. We just got a comment today. Oh, the Steelers, we're so much better. Oh, are you kidding me? They get the development. They understand the development. They get it. Oh, no, they don't have Russell Wilson on their team, but they got better player personnel. And you're going to the chickens are going to come home to roost. what you saw against the Bills, the chickens are going to come home to roost. You're not going to get away from that. Whether you have Russell Wilson, whether you have Roger Staubach, whether you got Tom Brady, I don't care who you got back there.
Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw, everybody in his prime. John Elway in his prime, who couldn't win a Super Bowl.
Until he got the offense until he got the player personnel around him.
Until he got the player personnel, you just can't escape it. It's something you cannot escape. And until this organization figures, maybe they will. With we got the guy, the problem out. We got the problem out the door. As soon as that umbilical cord is absolutely cut and severed, maybe the Vikings. I don't know if they've figured it out yet. I'm not sure. Maybe they have. I don't know, because they've had such a bad time trying to figure their offensive line out. I don't know. Like I said, I don't look into it enough for you to know, but I do know teams that are developing, are getting it. And this just goes to your point about, yes, line, at least offensive line, is so underdeveloped and it's just used differently, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a college, what they're doing in college, I don't know. Or is our teams going to start doing what they're doing in college? I don't know. Getting if their quarterbacks have to run around like chickens with their heads cut off, I just don't see that being a long-term solution in the NFL. It just doesn't. I just don't see it as a long-term.
I agree.
Okay, is there anything else with the offensive, defensive lines that? We're on offense.
We'll get it.
I'm sorry, we're doing offense right now.
Yeah, offense first. Yeah.
But we're stick with the offense. Focus. Okay, we're sticking with it. Okay, I'm going to talk about your most favorite subject: quarterback. Ripping.
Can I go grab a beer first?
Here you go about consistency. I did not see consistency with him. I do like 19 or that receiver.
Williams, Seth Williams, yeah.
Yes, I'm wondering if Seth Williams ends up taking over Jerry Jeudy down the road. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, you hate Jerry Jeudy. Pitchforks and
you got your Jerry Jeudy. You got your best.
Yeah. I got my Sanders, my Emmanuel Sanders. That guy actually represented 10 very well. Actually understood route running.
Yeah, actually held players like Jeudy accountable, right?
No, Cortland Sutton accountable. That's why they got in a fight at practice over route running.
Yeah, remember before you came on here, I was saying I was just tearing Cortland.
Yeah, you did a video on it.
Yeah, I did a whole video tearing up Cortland Sutton, man. Said this guy's got to fucking get his head out of his ass. And right after I made that video, Sanders just goes and lays into Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
So imagine that. But I'm not being listened to, I guess. So anyway,
just to go back on that, Calvin Anderson going at left tackle.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm talking about, right?
Who was saying that too? To put him at yes. No, we don't. They don't listen to us. I hope they start listening. But I will give Rippon credit, man. He threw a bomb that was beautiful catch. It was really a thing of beauty. But again, he needed to be a little bit more accurate. He was airmailing some stuff. But other than that, he had an okay game. Was not consistent, but okay game.
What did you think about Hamler actually going in the middle of the field and taking hits, unlike Jerry Jeudy?
And here's the thing: I want the refs to get out of the game, because that was a clean hit on Hamler, and it takes away the great job Hamler did. He hung onto the ball, and he should have got credit for that. By throwing the flag, you take away something he did. Granted, Broncos get a first down. I get all that, but that was just a massively great job by Hamler and the defender, putting a legal hit on him. And it just takes away from both players. I don't want to see this season. I don't want to see refs bailing teams out. Get the calls right. Get the calls right. It's preseason. I understand. Get the calls right. That's my take.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah. Get the calls right. All right. So that's all I really got with the offense. It was nice to see them finally doing some of the things we said to do, especially with how to run the offensive line and the play calling. There was some play calling I didn't understand. It didn't make any sense. But overall, it was nice to see them edging towards what we've been talking about
against the third string.
Well, I mean,
Vikings
play design,
defense.
the way they were running, the way they were running the play. So,
Yep.
anyway,
I agree.
now we're going to get on to the defense.
I'll let you take off. I started the offense, so I'll let you go first.
It's definitely the depth. Yell, give me a break. Please give me a break. Burrito, where the hell was that guy? Again, just the depth, the lack of depth on that defense is really scary. It's really scary.
When you talk about Burrito, his two plays where he got pressure, I got to give him credit. They were good plays on
Where's
his
the
part.
consistency?
Exactly. That's what I was getting into. Where's the consistency factor with that whole thing, though? Because when you look at the whole entire situation, you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and be like, "Whew, that guy's so undersized, man. That guy is so undersized for being an outside linebacker."
Well, it's definitely, there's a guy. His name was Bruce Smith. Yeah, it's just Tombstone Jackson kind of comes to mind too, and he ain't that. He ain't any of that. So, but you gave all your draft capital away, and you get what you get.
Yep.
And you don't care about the middle. Where was Minnesota attacking the Broncos? Where?
Middle of the field.
The middle of the field. The middle of the field. Singleton had a. Here's the thing. You're not going to get whoever that quarterback was. You're not going to. That guy had a pocket. He refused to step up into the pocket. He didn't give his receiver a chance to run his route. Threw it early, and I have to say maybe Singleton wasn't expecting it because why would you throw the ball? I just from quarterback play, that guy made no sense to me. He was like Rush. It just didn't make any sense. And I'll give our quarterback plenty of props for not being that clueless.
Thank God.
I mean, you got a pocket in front of you, dude. A nice pocket. You're a quarterback. There's this thing called work in the pocket. They don't give you a pocket for nothing, dude. Don't just throw the ball because Burrito or I don't know who was it. All you had to do was step up. And again, I want to make this point too on that play. There were times with this idiot quarterback that they had. There was no push up the middle whatsoever at all. Again, time and time again. Quarterbacks, that actually know something, and I want to make this. Those of you who just are edge, and forget the middle, edge. All a quarterback has to do to neutralize the edge is step up. That's all step up. We saw a couple plays where he did step up and ran, but you don't have to run. All he had to do was wait for his receiver to actually finish his route, and he could have got the ball out, and that would have been a big play. But again, if you have no push up the middle, your edges are basically neutralized. I mean, you really are not helping your edges out. If you would have had push up the middle, he has nowhere to go. Maybe there was a sack, But a good quarterback isn't going to throw that ball early. That would have been a big completion, but go ahead.
No,
that was the Singleton near pick. I just had to say, we both look at things, we don't just look at that. Go ahead.
We look at things more detail orientedly, and especially me, I look at footwork, I look at hand placement, I look at everything. Okay, when it came to that almost pick six from Alex Singleton, I mean, it was a slant play right at Singleton. So all Singleton had to do was read and react what is in front of him. And he just threw it right at him. Like, it wasn't anything that that was special. Again, if you have an opportunity to make a play on an interception, you need to make a play on an interception. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And see, we're going to get into Baron Browning here in a little bit. And this is going to go back to my point about Baron Browning, that everybody's just drooling over this one play that he did in
Yeah,
the
because
second quarter.
well, I wouldn't say everybody. There's plenty of people that know he should be in the. He should be.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, there's a certain group of people that just will cheerlead anything. You know, the worst. You know, yeah, Schobert. Yeah, Schobert. We should have paid him $50 million. Oh my God, what are you talking about? You don't know anything. You know, there's those.
Maybe on Madden 22.
Yeah, exactly. So, I am going to play your Baron Browning video because it needs to be seen. Because this, you know, we have too much oversell going on. They want to talk about overreacting. Let's not oversell, okay? Stop overselling. So, why don't you talk about the Baron Browning since we're on the subject? Unless you want to clear up something else.
Well, I mean, we could talk about Brandon. There's a few other things I want to talk about. Do you want to talk about that before we get into Baron Browning? Because I think that's going to be the big main issue that we have. Or do you want me to talk about Browning first?
No, what other thing was you going to talk about?
Damari Mathis.
Oh God.
I mean, a guy that I said in my film review that I said, I think that guy's a better slot corner than a freaking man-to-man outside. Again, it makes no sense. They kept attacking him. Same with Blashawn Austin. What did I say about Blashawn Austin?
Yeah, get into that. What did we see?
You know, because I got so much shit for that. And it's on this man's channel. I said that he always plays 10 yards off, and he always gives his receiver room underneath to catch a ball. And it's just an illegal contact on a corner when you're 10 yards off. How is that possible?
It is for him.
How is that possible? I mean,
that
has to be a record. I mean, my goodness gracious! Like, man, this secondary.
Well, I mean, the depth
so
on this team is scary. It's scary, and in a bad way, scary. Yell.
He did his best Justin Simmons impersonation with a missed tackle, and then you were bringing up the tackle with the feet too. That I want you to get into.
Dude.
Was not high on that pick either.
Like that. And you know what? It's, in my opinion, that running back should be just as embarrassed. Yeah. Allowing yourself to get tackled with such a bad angle like that. Dudes, come on, man. Come on. Do I need to bring the high school team in to show you how it's done? The local rugby team here to show you how it's done? I mean, yes. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Both of you. Minnesota Viking fuck, and then yell. You too, man. Come on. I mean, that shit used to just piss me off. It was horrible. Just, I don't know.
I know.
So yeah, I mean, I'm just saying this whole draft. Well, I guess we can get rid of the Schobert, the tight end, because you know Dulcich. This draft.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Whoever's putting that stuff out, the 8 other platforms. If you're saying Schobert needs to go, dude, there's something wrong with you, man.
It's how the oversell works.
Understand.
Yeah, that's how oversell works.
It's a guy in Greg Dulcich who hasn't played it down.
Hasn't even played it down.
You think he's better than Schobert?
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's you can't. I don't know how you wrap your head around that. I just don't know. I guess they're trying to make this draft class look like it. Hennessy, though. Let's talk about Hennessy.
Yes.
The guy out on an island. Yeah, another guy out on an island, you know. Another guy out on an island. They had a linebacker there. I can't pronounce his name. It's like Polynesian. A hit and miss again.
He's inconsistent.
Inconsistent as all get out.
Matt Henderson, if you put him at the right position and you put a guy next to him, he could do something for you. But again, it's weird. Why are you putting Henderson at nose tackle? Like, he's not a nose tackle. Again, it's just putting players in a position that they will not succeed in. That's the issue I'm having with here. You are not putting Henderson as a 3 tech in a 3-4 defense, Well, what's a 3-tech? A 3-tech is lined up next to the center and the guard, right between the nose tackles, right on with the center. And I saw that even with McKelvin and Gene. And then they finally put him at 3-tech, and he looked good. I'm just like, what are you doing?
Here's my take. I think this defense is in a lot of trouble.
I agree.
I think the starters aren't very good. I think they're
well, outside of DJ Jones, and I would say DJ Jones is good. Surtain as a boundary man-to-man corner is excellent. But, I mean, how much can you really take away from that when the player personnel around you sucks?
Jackson's fine, but over the hill a bit.
He's slowed down.
I just don't see, they don't need to go to that side of the field. They just don't need to. You got the middle, and you got the, if you can, like you said, do a wheel route on Surtain.
If you do underneath routes on them, and they were doing it in Cowboys practice again.
Yeah, and let everybody just go to Justin Simmons, 40 yards off or 30 yards, whatever, 20 yards, whatever real estate he's given up.
I think Noah Fant's going to feast in this game if they give him the ball correctly. That's the one guy I'm worried about.
If they aren't, then their OC needs to be fired.
Yeah, they're stupid.
Yeah, that's just what I'm saying. I just think that, and the lack of depth on this defense, it's just it's all a recipe for disaster. I do not see how Russell Wilson, with that offensive line, if teams start doing score fests, how he's going to be able to, get away from bombs away. And, the one thing I know we'll bring this up during the Seattle pregame, but one thing I'm hoping is that it's just not a bombs away fest, that it's a, they can get into the short, kind of something what they were saying with Minnesota, with Kirk Cousins, get into those shorter, high completion, get the ball out quick. And, I'm not saying don't try to go deep. I'm not saying don't try, but don't make that your game plan, So I'm saying this is a defensive, because I just think that this defense and what I've seen so far in preseason, it's just going to get exploited.
I completely agree with you.
War and Peace, reading War and Peace, stepping up because there's no rush.
Again.
Maybe DJ Jones can get one or two in there, but
he's going to be double teamed.
Yeah, because Draymond Jones.
Am I really worried about Draymond Jones in his third, fourth year with the overhyping?
No. It seems like they even backed off of that Draymond Jones bandwagon too.
Thank goodness, because they needed to stop drinking the Kool-Aid.
Man, so are we at
Brownie? Yep, Brownie. I'll let you hit it off first.
Well, I didn't see the play. I just heard it. Then when I looked at it,
you saw it.
Okay. Well, okay. Yes, defensive ends will do the swing around move. Okay, but if you really break that play down, it's more of a middle linebacker type move.
Yes.
He gets off that, goes to the middle, hits the A gap, which he would have as a middle linebacker. He played it like a middle linebacker from the edge. Played it as a middle linebacker. It almost makes our point.
I know. I
didn't realize. I thought he came around the edge and did something as an edge guy. I didn't realize he put himself back into the position of middle linebacker and made the play. But go ahead.
No. You hit it. You hit on all cylinders on that play. And when you brought it up, I went back and watched. I've watched that play 20, 30 times. And here's why. When he did that wraparound, he went into another gear, man. He went into that. If you blitzed him up the A or B gap, and you blitzed him up right there, you saw when he wrapped around there, he went into another gear and went straight forward, making our point. Because if he was a straightforward as a middle linebacker, that would make a whole lot of sense.
It was more of a middle linebacker. Yeah,
you got to give credit where credit is due. That play was exceptionally drawn up. And McKelvin and Gene did his job, commanding the double team that made Baron Browning wrap around. But once he hit that back, once he came around and got that first step, it was over.
Got to position.
It was over. And it wasn't that Baron Browning caused the fumble. It was he caused the pressure that forced the fumble from McTelvin Ajim. He backed him up into McTelvin Ajim, and McTelvin Ajim got away from two guys and hit the quarterback, and the ball came out.
Well, what about that guy that was double teamed you're talking about? Tell me what you think about him as a player.
McTelvin Ajim?
Yeah.
I think he still has a lot to work to do. I mean,
oh yeah, that's right. Telvin Ajim. Yes. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was a Vic Fangio pick. I think with him, I think the problem is with him is I don't understand. Again, they were doing it, and it was somebody brought it up, and I went and looked at it, and I'm looking at him playing nose tackle against the Bills, nose tackle against the Cowboys. Same with Hennison. Those two players combined are not nose tackles. They're not, and they're again.
Well, we don't.
I have the. Hold on.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say we don't have a nose tackle. We haven't.
Yeah,
they,
Purcell.
I don't know
You
the
really
last
gonna
time
trust
they
Purcell?
really drafted a nose tackle.
Well, I heard they might move. They might have DJ Jones at nose tackle this year. They have him listed as a nose tackle.
What's your take on that?
He's not a nose tackle. He's a three tech.
Yeah. So again, we're putting carts. I'm sorry. We're taking people out of because there's no. Here's the thing. There's no emphasis on draft and development and understanding these positions. Go ahead.
But you're going to have people say, "Well, Mike Purcell's a nose tackle. He's not the same player he was 2-3 years ago."
Yeah.
Again, he's injury prone and he's past his prime. So how many times again are we going to continue to put our stake in the stable again, defending a guy that's past his prime again? Are we going to go through this again? Are we really going to go through this again? Of course we have to go through
it because this goes back to development again. Understanding, bringing in player personnel and developing them. They do not understand.
You could have had Jordan Davis, who's a traditional nose tackle. Jordan Davis is a nose tackle. Could you imagine DJ Jones and Jordan Davis next to each other? DJ Jones is your three.
We tried. We tried.
I wanted Jordan Davis.
We tried. We just like that offensive lineman you picked. We tried. Just like the
linebacker, Tyler Linderbaum and Cam Jurgens.
Yeah, but we tried. We can't. I don't know how you explain this to people. I
can't. You can't anymore. You can't fix stupid. You just can't do it.
It's just a quarterback. It's only a quarterback. Yeah, you just can't. I can't. All you can do is try.
That's all we can do. I mean, the Bear, and then we talk about that one play, but another play that is a perfect example of this is, you remember that cutback block play where that player went towards his knees, where it was a springboard running play? It was the missed tackle by Yell, I believe, wasn't it? No, It wasn't. It wasn't the missed tackle by Yell. It was that run play where they ran right at Browning's side and that hole opened up, right? When he knocked him down, it was a cutback block that he went for his knees. If again, that's why I say they're attacking a weakness, because why didn't they do that on Malik Reed's side of the field?
Yeah.
If they wanted to attack,
I noticed
they would have ran the exact same play on Malik Reed's side of the field, right?
Yeah, I noticed they were double teaming Reed.
Exactly. Yeah.
They weren't double teaming Brown.
And there was a play where he got through the double team and actually almost wrapped up and got the tackle.
Team, yes.
And I'm not saying Browning did it on a play or two. He did, and I brought it up. But on that specific play where they had number 34 come down and hit his knees, and that just springboarded the whole thing. And then and there was another play too. When I said on that double team that you were talking about, when he got double teamed, he didn't go vertical. He went horizontal, right toward the running back. And then what happened on the next play? I said, this is what Browning needs to do. They need to pinch it. And what did Browning do on the next play? He horizontal and got the running back. So you say I don't know what I'm talking about, but back-to-back plays, I said, hey, this is what he needs to do. Next play, he does it.
Yeah. The play before was what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went vertical. And Malik Reed shedded the double team and then went right up the middle of the defense. And that was when Malik Reed missed the tackle and almost got him. And then the next play, they were in the exact same play. And what did Browning do? He didn't go vertical. He went horizontal and got the running back. It's on my film review. You can watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna link your film review. Let's talk about the plays Browning did not excel in. Talk about that.
Pass rushing. I mean, where was he? I mean, he's inconsistent. He's not an all-around outside linebacker. He's a middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Okay, when they got that sack, he didn't go outside. He didn't go in. He did what you said. They wrapped around, and then he went into a certain gap, right?
The middle linebacker mode. Yeah, I know. Which makes our point. It actually made more of our point. I know.
Whatever.
I know.
Whatever.
I didn't realize that. I didn't until I saw it. I'm like, wait a minute. He's
Exactly,
like right now the middle linebacker. It is like a middle linebacker.
But it made you see when you were listening to Dave Logan, who is trash. I mean, when you were telling me what you were listening to, I'm like, no, this is what really happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's mind-boggling.
Well, they're just polishing turds. They're constantly polishing turds, you know. So I mean, we saw them running right at Browning. That you said that's a weakness. They're exploiting. Well, who else ran at Browning? What other teams ran at Browning?
Bills and the Cowboys.
Did I not see the Cowboys? And it's just again. And then Browning's going to sit on the bench, I guess. I don't know because I don't know if Gregory's going to. Who knows?
He's not going to last 17 games. I already know that.
Is he going to even start?
I don't know.
You just can't make this shit up. And then people are telling me that the Steelers don't have the player what planet these people live on.
You can't get mad at the fans. We can't get mad at the fans.
You know, but here I want to talk about this. I was talking to my friend Eddie. We're going through talking about the Saints. I'm going to try to get him on. He wants to come on and talk. The reason why I wanted to talk about is we talk about the Saints. We all get the fundamentals. All these fans I talk to get the fundamentals. But Eddie was saying that with their player personnel, offensive line set, no problem at all. And Winston, Tampa Bay couldn't stop. They couldn't stop him, and they have no receivers. And they could not stop Winston, and they took a cheap shot at him. When they finally got to him, they took a cheap shot and injured him. But what I'm saying is, even they have core player personnel against good teams. I do not see the Denver Broncos playing Tampa in that fashion. I mean,
we saw what happened with the Bills. I mean, come on.
Yes.
But again, you brought up a great point. You bring up Jameis Winston, I'll bring up Teddy Bridgewater, who everyone likes to shit on. You know, check down Teddy, right? Check down Teddy.
Well, he's got player personnel around him.
He went 9-1 with the Saints as a starter with that player personnel.
Yeah.
But then when he went to Carolina, Denver, he sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, during the Bills, you could have put Bridgewater behind that Bills team, and he would have looked just like Keenum.
Well, Keenum, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Even the Browns with Keenum. Didn't Keenum look like a different quarterback with the Browns when he was behind that offensive line?
Yeah.
When they kicked our ass on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. No, they just don't understand.
They don't get it. They don't. The organization doesn't get it. They don't get it. They don't.
Yeah, the organization clearly doesn't. Hopefully now that
it's going to take time. It's not going to happen right away.
Yeah, I mean,
let's not get our hopes up.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's very nice, Mr. Elway. We're going a different direction. We're going to go a different direction until we start pulling ourselves out of edges, corners, receivers, and nothing else matters. Yeah, and the reason I bring Eddie up again because he said the Saints made the same mistakes. They were exactly like that until they started building from the inside out. Did they friggin' start to improve?
And look what happened with the Saints. They got rid of one of their best tackles of all time in Teron Armstead, right? But he's declining. And then they got Trevor Penning, who's hurt, unfortunately, because I was another guy I did, and it's on this guy's channel. I did a film review on Penning. I said, I want this guy from Northern Iowa. And then look what happened. The Saints got him in the second round.
Because they got a Colby that breaks film down and looks, yeah. And he's just really high on that guy. He didn't want to he'd been asked to be GM all over the place, but he loves breaking film down and getting player personnel because he gets it. And we're going to talk about that too. So if I can get him on. So,
yep.
All right. Anything else to wrap this preseason game up. We'll have a pre-game on the Seattle Seahawks and what we're want to see from the Denver Broncos.
I think my plan going forward before this game, I'm still going to put out film review. No one's going to stop me from doing that. And number two, I'm going to take all 3 preseason games from the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to watch it multiple times, and then I'm going to try and see what I can gauge because they actually played their starters on the offense and defensive lines, and I'm going to see what they're like, and I encourage everyone to do the same.
Yeah, have to not just listen to a bunch of talk and then.
Well, don't watch highlight reels because you're not going to get anything from that. It's just going to show you the good plays.
Yeah. I got to oil myself up and tell everybody I'm the best fan in the whole world. That's all I'm going to do for an hour, talk about myself, and I'm so good and wonderful. I went to the game and showed my sport. Love, 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 love. All right, I'll let you go if there's nothing else.
No, that's it for me.
All right, me too. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.